Talk this evening. A busy football show. Mark Lawrenson on the way talking Liverpool. We will be checking in with Paddy Agnew, who's going to talk to us about Chelsea's new manager, Sarri. Interesting fella, working in a bank till he was 41.
Yeah, that's. I'm looking forward to hearing. I actually haven't sort of done the deep read on the whole Sarri background, but it's certainly an interesting one.
Well, now you don't have to. But in the meantime, I'm delighted to say, and I hope he's standing by, Noel Hunt of Waterford is on the line. Hello, Noel Hunt. Are you there?
How you doing, guys?
Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. No
worries.
So, you made the decision to come home. Give us your thinking. How are you finding things?
Yeah, it's been great. Decision came a bit of an overnight thing, really. I was up finishing off my UEFA A licence in Scotland, and I was planning to be there for 7 days. Say, got a phone call of the unfortunate news. What happened? As probably my boss right now, Alan Reynolds, when he got jumped on back the night of the Champions League final, and kind of left the boys in Waterford a bit managerless, if that makes sense, and got asked to step in for a little while with Paul Cashell's Fran was there as well, Franny Rocket, and Dirk. So it was kind of an opportunity that I really wanted to get into that side of it. So yeah, it was perfect for me, you know.
I mean, Noel, were you likely to come home? It was just the sort of the speed of it that happened with Alan's situation, or was it still in your head at that stage, I don't know where I'm going to be, sort of in August time?
Yeah, no, it was it wasn't. I wasn't planning on coming home at all. I mean, we had a conversation a couple of times about different things, myself and my agent and that. But ideally, I wasn't going to come home. I mean, my wife at the time was seven months pregnant, and she couldn't fly anywhere. So if I was going to come home, I had to come home on my own, kind of thing. So we sat down and had a chat about it. Obviously, she knows my ambition as football, where football goes after football, where I want to go, how I want to do it, and we felt it was a really good kind of opportunity that was like dropped on our toes.
And what is that ambition?
Oh, look, I want to coach him and manage at the highest level, as high as I can go. I know it's not easy. I've been very, very lucky that I've had probably some of the best managers in the leagues in England to learn from. And for me, that's what I want to do. I want to go down that line of coaching and managing.
So you've gone in as basically player, assistant manager at Waterford. That's the job description?
Yeah. Yeah,
so do you get the players to call you gaffer, or how does that work?
No. The boys, to be fair, the boys have been great. They're good as gold, and I think me being over in England for the last probably 16 years kind of helps with the side of the job, because they're very spongy. The boys, you know, they're wanting to learn, they're wanting to absorb information. Like, so they're always asking questions. They're always wanting to get better, which is perfect for me, because ideally, if you want to be a coach or a manager, you got to make the players you have as good or better than what you can when you get them. You know, that makes you a good manager in my eyes. You know, if you make players better, it'll make the team better and hopefully more successful.
And clearly you felt that there was still some juice in the legs. Otherwise you would have just, I presume, gone in as assistant manager or just a coaching role. You wanted to keep playing even at 35.
Yeah, I did. Like, I feel like, I mean, last year I spoke with the gaffer, obviously, over in Wigan with Cookie, like, and you know, he was saying, look, there'll be something here for you. You know, I love you to pieces. You're part of my squad. You're a big part in the dressing room, and you know, looking at the stats, I was one of the fittest there, and still one of the quickest, believe it or not. I don't know why. I don't know how. I think my pod must have been malfunctioning, but I think I might have took it for a spin in the car for a couple of hours. But it came up that I was still in the top 3 or 4 in speed. So. Right. When I spoke to him about this job, he said, listen, don't stop playing. He said, whatever you do, he goes, get involved, see the other side of it, learn from it, but still play. So that's what I've done, you know. To be fair, I'm still trying to get fit now. I'm still catching up with the boys on match fitness, but I've played the last 3 or 4, and I feel like I'm getting better every time, to be fair.
Players, I think, who've played at your level and above can make the mistake of going to leagues, so-called lesser leagues like the MLS or back to League of Ireland, and just assuming it's going to be a bit easier, you know, like they won't have to work as hard, they'll have more time in the ball, it'll be a bit of a couch ride. And then they get a rude awakening when they find they're surrounded by very young, fit, hungry players, and the standard's not as bad as they thought, and the tackles hurt still as much, and it's no crack. How have you found it? And were you kind of aware of what you were letting yourself in for in that respect?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. I've been very, very fortunate. I've been blessed that I've won League Two, I've won League One, I've won the Championship. I find myself very lucky being very, very good teams at the times, and it doesn't matter what level you play at. Players, you'll find players just as quick in League One, League Two as you will in the Premier League. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we had a player last year. He's at Swindon now. His name is Kane Woolery, and he recorded the quickest sprint time in Europe, not just England, in Europe, quicker than Ronaldo, quicker than all these boys. Physicality boys. There's boys just as strong as boys in the Championship, in the Premiership. So these things don't change. It's probably more the decision making, the quality of pass, the type of pass, the quality of decision. That's the difference. The ability to think with your head probably more so than not, and that's where probably the levels change. The ability to see a pass. And these are the difference. But in terms of physicality, I knew this was going to happen. I knew I was going to come back to Ireland. It'd be the same as being in any league in England. That was going to be physical. It was going to be quick. And just the difference was maybe the quality on the ball sometimes. And that, I do firmly believe that that's one of the main factors of players rising through the leagues, and maybe not.
I mean,
hello.
Sorry, I think we've lost Noel briefly there, have we? But Noel, if you can still hear us, I mean, you're going back to where it all started, I guess, and going back to Waterford. And I think when you were growing up, I mean, the club has had sort of peaks and troughs, I guess, but it's now a full-time club. I mean, how much are you enjoying just being back there and seeing the positive atmosphere? You're third in the table, pushing for Europe. Like, it must be a bit of a buzz to be back home and in that kind of environment.
Oh, look, it's great. I mean, you go down there on a Friday night, you're talking, 2,000-3,000 people down there. The last time I was there, and the last game I remember was, I'm sure it was a home to Cove. I think there was probably 70 people there, when I was 18, 19. And that's the buzz it's brought, that's the calibre of player that, that the boss has brought in, Rennie has brought in, the likes of Bastianieri, these kind of guys, the likes of, Izzy Akinadi, who excite you, that, you get crowds off their feet. It's really great to see, and the town is buzzing over it. It really is. The full-time thing is working really well. The boys are in every day, and the more we do that, the better players become again. And like you said, we're in the third spot. I don't think anyone would have put us up there at the start of the season. And it's for us now just to enjoy being in there and stay in there. That's the big thing. Keep disappointing the teams around us. Go out there, get a buzz on people looking at the scores at the end of the game and seeing, oh wow, Waterford won a game again, we know that there's 7 big games left in the league, and we're not under any illusions that it's going to be easy. We know we got our next away game is Pats. We're at home to Bray, and then it goes on. But for us right now, we've got the cup game against Drogheda on Friday night. Our full focus is on that.
I mean, you'd had a small bit of a blip, and I know there was players coming in and out. You lost your goalkeeper. There was like changes in the summer window, but you had that big win in Derry last week. Do you feel, I mean, that can be the platform for the rest of the season? And even yourself, you mentioned your match fitness, that you started to get involved in the goals as well. You must feel that maybe you might have turned a slight corner from maybe a rough patch when you came in at first. Yeah,
absolutely. We've gone back over the games. We've watched them again. We didn't deserve to lose against Rovers. They scored a good goal. We had 2 or 3 great chances in the game. The Limerick game, we should have been out of sight by 30 minutes. We should have been 3 or 4 up. It didn't happen. And the Cork game, if I'm being honest, we should have been ahead at half time, but we didn't do enough to win it in the second half. So if I'm being blatantly honest, that was the only one that we're a bit disappointed in. We didn't come out in the second half. But we knew that we weren't far away. We watched it back. We knew that it was only small details that we needed just to tweak and to get better at. I think against Derry on last Friday, it was a really, really solid performance. I mean, we looked comfortable throughout the second half. We didn't look like we were going to concede. We should have scored 2 or 3 more goals. And it was a really, really good team performance. So yeah, I mean, we've been working on that this week. We've been working on the shape. We've been working on things that we need to work on for the draw of the game again. So like I said, we've got boys then that are desperate to do well, that are desperate to learn. They're always wanting to do extra, and if you have that, I think you've got half a chance, you know.
To take a step back and look at your overall career then, or where you see it going, when you're trying to chart the next couple of years, and I appreciate that's very difficult, especially in the world of football, do you see it as, I'll try and get a managerial job, the main man job at a League of Ireland club, and that will give me a chance of getting a job pitching up somewhere in Scottish football or English football? Or do you feel like you'll just have to go back to England and get a coaching role in England to get a job in England? I guess to shorten that question, does being a main man in the Airtricity League, does that get you a main man job at any level in English or Scottish football, do you feel, at this stage?
You talk to the guys that have done it. You talk to Pat Fellon, Stephen Kenny, Paul Cook would probably be the best one. Yeah. Sam Allardyce, they all worked in Ireland. Obviously, we've been with Cookie for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been very, very good to me. And look, I'm not saying I want to jump into a manager's job right now. Because I know that there's a hell of a lot to learn. In terms of managing players, managing owners, all that kind of stuff that comes with it. And I look at some guys that jump into it. I'm thinking, oh wow, it's a big job for your first job. Have you really done your time? Like an apprentice for all the world. I'm not going chasing money. I want to do it right and I want to be successful. So right now, as much as I have my own philosophy on how I would like to play, what way I'd like to play, it all comes into the players you have as well. Sure. And for me, I'm just, I've been very lucky to learn off someone as good as Alan. Rennans, he's been in the game a long time in Ireland. And to take a lot of things from him, how composed he is, how calm he is, how he deals with players. He really is underrated in my eyes. And I'm not surprised after coming in how well the boys are doing, because he's a very good manager, and he has all the boys really level, really calm, really together. There's a really strong togetherness, and that's what I'm learning. It's about who you pick to be in your dressing room as well. Yeah, you have to have strong characters, and he's done really well with that. So for me, I'm just learning as much as I can, and then when the season finishes, I'll have a conversation with Alan and whoever else is involved, and we'll go from there. But for me, right now, I've got a focus of staying in the European spot, having the right good bash of the cup, and going from there.
Because there can be an element as well of, the whole other discipline is trying to figure out the coaching. I remember Ronan O'Gara saying, I know it's a different sport, but the same rules apply. Like a brilliant experienced player, and he sort of half joked that in his first session he wasn't really sure how to put out the cones properly. Like, you got to figure out all this stuff that you think because you've surrounded by it all your life, and then suddenly you realise, oh, well, how do I do all this? Have you found almost that technical side of things taking a bit of getting used to, or how have you taken to it?
Yeah, to be fair, I've been doing it for a few years. I've been doing it for probably 3 or 5 years. I got injured at Reading. I'd done my knee and I was out for a year. Right. And to be fair, Brendan Rodgers was the manager at the time, and he said, "Look, go get involved in the youths. Go get involved in the coaching side of it." And he was sending me to games. He was sending me to to the best games in England. He was sending me to United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Arsenal. He sent me to all these games and giving them player reports on different players and stuff. So that really intrigued me, if that makes sense. Yeah, great. And really gave me an insight to that side of it. And then I got stuck. I think I told the story before. I was stuck in America with Reading under 16s and 17s with the Ash Cloud back then years ago, and we were supposed to be there for a week. I was with Eamon Dolan, bless his soul, he's passed away now, and we were there for a month. So we were doing a month of coaching and I really got a bug for it then. So from then on, I kind of continued on, like tipping in with the academy, going up in the evenings. Last year, I would train on a Monday. With the Wigan Forest team. I'd train Tuesday. I'd go down to the youths at 2 o'clock on a Tuesday till 4 or 5. I'd stay down with the youths then and do the 13s at 7 o'clock to 9. And I'd done that Thursdays as well and Fridays. Okay. So I was trying to pick up little things. They they've been so good to me wherever I've been. They've always catered me, always brought me in, explained what they were doing, from youths to 16s to 13s and upwards 23s. And since then, to be fair, probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I started just taking down the sessions every day as we done them, with Liam Richardson and Anthony Barry, who I think is probably one of the best coaches I've ever worked with at Wigan. He came in last season, and he's a fantastic young coach, full of enthusiasm, full of great ideas. His sessions are always, bubbly, bright, tempo is great. And these are the kind of people you want to learn off, So everything they've done, no matter what it was, I took it down, gave it for me my good points, my bad points, and then even coming to now, I put on sessions that were right. I've done this. I felt it was good. It was hard work. Let's go try it with these boys. And to be fair, the response I've got off the boys at Waterford has been great. Like, they've really enjoyed it. They've been really enthusiastic, and that's all you can ask for,
Well,
but again, you still want to learn.
Sure. It's nice for them to know that they're getting the same session that's been done in England, that's been road tested at a very high level. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did that at Manchester United. From an early age, he started writing down the sessions they were doing, and hey presto, suddenly you have a big book when you retire of good stuff. I guess you'll have to deal with agents and stuff as well. There's a few rogues around kind of the Wexford area. You might need to keep an eye out, but you got to watch out for those guys.
I'm in one now. He's probably listening with a cup to the door.
Is he there? Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there playing with the kids. Yeah, he stuck me away in the basement here to talk to you.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess it's nice for you two to kind of be in the same neck of the woods again and hang out.
Yeah, would you believe he came down today and trained with us?
Okay.
He came down today and trained with us.
Is he thinking about making a comeback?
No, he's not. No, I'd say give him a phone call tomorrow about 12 o'clock. I'll tell you, he might not get out of bed. But no, he was great. He came down, and I don't think a couple of the boys knew who he was, to be fair. And after we went into a bit of shape, and he played left back, and Bastianieri, who clearly didn't know who he was, came on and goes, "Oh, you're good, man. Where are you from?" And I was just in stitches. I was really laughing, So I had to go over and explain to Bastian who he was, and he was just laughing, man. This is the kind of working environment we have. Like, it's been really good, really kind of relaxed, but it's hard work as well, Yeah. So it was great. It was great when I told him he was kind of a bit embarrassed,
I love that. Really I love the thought of him going over and saying, "You're not bad," Like, you keep going.
Yeah, good level yourself.
Did you play with the Leinster Senior League, or what did you do?
Pardon?
Asking him, did he play with the Leinster Senior League, or did he? He's good.
Yeah, but the thing is, no one, like I was saying, since he's changed his image,
his hair.
No one really knows who Stephen is.
Yeah, I know. Well, the hair is unbelievable. But I didn't realise he was in here one night saying he went grey in his 20s, but had to keep dyeing it.
Yeah, he did, and I didn't realise how bad it was, until he actually just left it go. It was literally over 2 or 3 weeks. I spoke to him on the phone, but I hadn't seen him, so he came on FaceTime, and I had to kind of check the phone and see if I'd phoned the right person. So we went back to Reading a couple of years ago. Now, Stephen obviously was a part of the 106, the record breaking team, So, and he was there for 4 years. Now I was there for 5.5. But people were coming up to me and saying, to be fair, we live in the league as well, but he's like, "Oh no, great to see you back," and stuff. And he just goes past them. No one had an idea. Which back in the day he would have been quite upset about. He would have been quite, "How can you not know me? I'm Stephen Hunt," But he just walks on in now, and no one really batters an eyelid. It's great for him.
Oh dear, I hope he's listening. Listen, we're out of time. Best of luck with things over the next couple of weeks, obviously, and we might check in at the end of the season and see how you found it all.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, boys.
And actually, can we get an early request in? We want a Hunt Brothers special. We'll come down to you if we have to, but we want to make this happen.
No problem at all.
Okay, we're on the case. Listen, thanks a million.
Perfect.
Cheers, Noel.
So we have a place in Rosslare here called Tides. We can do it.
Okay, done. Sold. All right, cheers, bye.
See you, lads. Good luck.
The News Talk app is News Talk in your pocket. Download it now.
Mommy, Daddy, get up! We're going to the park, remember?
Daddy isn't feeling very well.
Mommy isn't either.
Not again.
Why don't you go watch some cartoons? We'll be down in a minute.
Okay.
God, it was great crack, but it's so not worth it.
Yeah, definitely drinking